Hi, Paul Higgins here. What I want to show you in this tutorial is creating charts using HLGs. Now, probably up till now, you have been creating charts using GPX files, which you have created on OpenCPN. This is a lot easier way to do it. So we're going to use SAS Planet to create HLGs for a polygon, a polyline, and a shoreline polygon. Then after we've created all these HLGs, we're going to create the charts from them using SATU chart, and then we're going to display the charts on OpenCPN. Now you may be wondering where we're going to save these HLGs, and you save them exactly the same place you would save your GPX files. I'll show you that later. Okay, let's first look at creating an HLG from a polygon. So here we have SAS Planet, and what we're going to do is, right now it's on Cuba, and we're going to zoom into a Marina Hemingway here where we want to create an HLG. So what you would do is go over to the side here to the operations and go down to Selection Manager, and you have a lot of choices here. You can simply put a rectangle around it, or you could draw a polygon. That's what we're going to do. So we'll simply draw a polygon around this marina. And back to the start, and we'll just fix it up a little bit so it looks more like a polygon. And now what you have to do is finalize it, and what you have to come up with this little window up here, and you click this little apply button, and it says apply, and you notice that the polygon has actually disappeared. So if we want to see it again, and this is completely optional, you don't have to do it, but if you want to see it again, you would simply press this here little icon at the bottom here, and it would say add a new polygon, and we would just press OK. So now we can see it again. And now we want to actually create the HLG for it. You go to this little diskette down here at the bottom of the Selection Manager, you press it, and you go to the place you want to put it. So I have a library on my C drive, Cuba, GPX, and HLG, so we can store them together here. And if you we're in that directory now, so we'll give it a name, and we'll call it Marina Hemingway. And just save it in there. Okay. Now we're finished with the selection manager, so we can simply cancel it. Okay, so that's the first way of creating a HLG from a polygon. Okay, the next thing we want to look at is creating a HLG for a polyline. So let's go back to SATU chart here, and here's our Marina Hemingway, and this is Havana Harbor. And what we want to do is create a chart that goes along the coast here, sort of leads up to coming into Havana, or into Marina Hemingway. So what we're going to do now is go to Operations, Selection Manager, Polyline, and we'll start creating a chart. So it happens to be 5,000 meters. You can change it by changing this value here if you want it smaller or bigger. But that's probably pretty good, but it's too close to the coast, so I'm just going to start over again. So I'm going to go out a little bit. So I'm going to go out to about here. Okay, so there it is. So that is the radius is 5,000 meters, so that means this whole thing is 10,000 meters. So it's out to 10 kilometers out that we're going to have an HLG, which will make a chart that is 10 kilometers from the shoreline here. So we'll just go along here and just adjust it a little bit, come down and adjust it again. So we came from Havana Harbor all the way up here, and we'll just adjust that again to us on the shoreline. So now we've got a HLG that goes from the Havana Harbor down past Marina Hemingway. So if we make a chart from that, if you're sailing in here 10 kilometers from the shore, you would have a chart which will be at a certain level, which we'll specify later. Okay, now to finalize that, again, you go to this little window here, you click apply, and you notice it disappeared. So if you want to see it again, and again, this is optional, you don't have to do it, but you just say create a polygon for it. So now we can see it again. And then we want to create the HLG, so we go down to this little diskette here, and we press the little diskette button. And where do we want to put it? Again, we want to put it in the same directory, Cuba, GPX, and HLG files. And this time we would say, give it a Havana to Mariel. That's probably where we are. That's the name of the city we're down there, going down to Mariel. It's not really a city, a little town. Okay, we save it. So now we've got two HLGs created. We can get rid of the selection manager. Okay, the next thing we want to do is creating an HLG for a polygon, or a shoreline polygon. So back to SAS Planet, and you can see our old shoreline one using a polyline, but this time we're going to create one in a different way. So we go to operations and we go to selection manager, and we're going to use polygon again. So this time I'm just going to go down the coast here and along the shoreline to about the same place we created the previous one, and now we're going to go out, and the distance out is going to be the same as this one, which is 10 kilometers. So we'll just come back here and right back to there and back to the start, and now we've got another HLG there. So we'll just finalize it, apply it, and we'll create a polygon for it, and that's optional. And now we'll create the HLG, and we'll give it a name, and we're going to call it Havana to Mariel, and we're going to call it Shoreline. So we'll distinguish it from the other one. Okay, and we save it. So now we've created 3 of them. Okay, we can close the selection manager. Okay, we've created those 3 HLGs. Now we want to create charts from them. So how do we do it? Well, first off, let's go take a look at that directory where we created them all, the Cuba GPX HLG. So it's got our 3 HLGs, plus it has a GPX file that we created from OpenCPN sometime previously. We're not going to use it right now. Okay, so what we would do now is we would start up Sat2 chart. Okay, here we got SAT2 chart running. If you don't know how to do that, well, look at the tutorial on SAT2 chart. And what we're going to be doing is using polygons and HLGs, the ones we just created to create charts, and we're going to put them in a certain directory. So the first thing we have to do is change to the right directory we want to put the charts. So we go back up here, back to our C colon, and Cuba charts. That's where we're going to save them. So that's there. And now the HLGs, we got to go to the right directory here, which we have set actually. So just click that. And here we have all our HLGs plus one GPX. So we want to use the HLGs. So we select them all, press finished. And it brings up and says what zoom levels you want and what maps you want to create it for. So we're going to create it for ArcGIS and Navionics. And this is the number of splits, so it's going to increase the split count here for the Navionics one. And then we press OK. And what should happen now is SAT2 chart is going to start up the number of SAS planets needed, which is going to be the number of HLGs times the number of maps. So we got 2 maps, 3 HLGs, so it's going to start 6 SAS planets. Okay, what it did, SAS planet or SAT2 chart resized itself. It started up 6 copies of the SAS planet. They're all running here now, and they're all going to go into a download phase. So I'm just going to stop the video until they're all running. Okay, they're all running. You can see in this one, which is number 6, that it's actually completing it. The next phase is export, and I'm just going to stop the video again until they all have exported and created all the charts. Okay, some of them are still downloading. If you want to see what's happening in that SAS planet, just click on the number of it, and you can see it's doing downloads here. And you got a couple running still. So again, I'm going to wait till the video or all the exports are done, which is the next stage. Okay, it finished. Created 6 charts. Took 11 minutes, 44 seconds. So let's go take a look at that directory where we had them all in, Cuba charts, and there they all are. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 charts. So the next thing we want to do is look at them on OpenCPN. Okay, here's OpenCPN, and what we're going to do is do a scan for new charts. So we go to the options, and we're going to scan for new charts. And notice that our Cuba charts, the one we put our charts in, is in here, so we should be able to find them when we do a scan. And we found them, so I'll just go over to the area where they are. And Just close them all here. So we got the first one here is Marina Hemingway. This is the Navionics one. And then the same thing, oh no, this is the Havana to Mariel chart. This is a shoreline chart. And here is the Marina Hemingway, and it's just the ArcGIS one. And they're all there. Okay, so we finished looking at them on OpenCPN. Okay, we use SASPlant to create a HLG for a polygon, a polyline, and the shoreline polygon. Then we use them all to create charts using Sat2Chart. Then we displayed them on OpenCPN. Thank you for watching.